enjoy?
Well, this evening has turned out to be really my lucky day. I'm in the car with Oscar-winning composer, musician, singer, songwriter A.R. Rahman. We were supposed to do this interview earlier today, but there have been a couple of changes. We've just finished a quick press conference, and Rahman is right here in Singapore. We are on the way to Changi Airport. Rahman, thank you so much. I know I'm kind of imposing on you. You would have liked some quiet time. But you're coming back to Singapore for the third time. You mentioned it briefly in the press conference. What makes Singapore so special for you? You spoke about that moment you had in the airplane when it landed.
I think Singapore is the nearest exciting city, I would say, to India. And so most of the music instruments trade and all the stuff, we used to buy equipment for quite a lot of time, 15-20 years, in Sweeney, in Yamaha, in all those places. And so there are many friends, and the people are very sympathetic towards Tamil music, Hindi music, what I do, and the amazing support and love from people in Singapore.
You know, Rahman, your music has this raw emotion. Even people who do not understand the language sometimes connect to it. I listen to a lot of it in Tamil. How do you sort of draw this compelling sense of emotion in your music? How does it come out? Where do you find these tones, these rhythms, these sounds? Every time I hear it, it is so completely fresh.
I think I tune myself like a listener. When you tune yourself like a listener, you always want to get the tingle of something fresh, something which makes you excited, something makes you challenging as a listener also sometimes, or take you to a trip to another place. And so most of the music is made with that in mind. Would I be able to listen to it again? Would I be excited, or would I just let it pass?
Which is the music you keep going back to, of all the music that you've composed in all these years?
I don't go back. Only during concerts we go back to stuff. Otherwise, there's other things, other challenges taken, and I have to concentrate on those.
I have a very special connection with Rahman's music because the first movie I reviewed was Roja, and I had just fallen in love with a man, and I invited him for this movie, and he showed up during halftime. But we both loved Choti Si Asha, and we thought it was a good enough reason to get married.
Wow.
But the music was so soulful, and I want to ask you, what does Mani Ratnam mean to you? Because I've interviewed Mani Ratnam, and he has some amazing things to say about you.
I think for me, it's like more than a director. He's like a mentor. He's like a brother, and he's an amazing human being. And he's an introvert. He doesn't talk to many people. He doesn't go socialize that much. But he's been a very guiding light to my life. So whenever I buy something new, I take a step in my life, I'd tell him, I'll just put it in his ear, I'm doing this. Oh really? Good luck.
So would you put everything on hold if Mani Ratnam tells you, Rahman, I need music for this movie next?
I think the way sometimes it's not worked with him at all, because he has a knack of picking up certain tunes which only he hears would work. And sometimes even like the tune of Jage, he picked up just as a humming. And since he liked it, I started believing in it. I give him a lot of options and things. So it's just more. It's much easier working with Mani Ratnam than anybody else.
What about Gulzar Saab? Because you have a very special relationship with him.
Yeah, he's an amazing, kind man, and I'm so grateful for him to have worked with me for so many movies and made my songs very special.
And there's a story behind Jai Ho, right? Were the lyrics given to you earlier? How did it happen?
I think Jai Ho was an idea. As a template, I developed it. And so Jai Ho, in the course of talking, Mr. Subhash Kai uttered that, this word is very powerful. And then I was doing Slumdog Millionaire, and then we had this song. And then Gulzar Saab wrote it. And then they had shot that song at that particular thing for some other tempo, and we adjusted the tempo to match. So it was a whole amazing history behind that song and how it worked out for the movie.
Did you ever sort of expect that it would take you to the Oscars?
No. I think nobody should ever do that. That kind of colors the whole creative. If you have something else in your mind about Oscars and everything, it colors the whole product into something which is so fake and which is not true to the movie sometimes.
But I watched the footage from the Oscars, Rahman. I watched you when you've gone to the Grammys, multiple awards. I'm sitting right next to you. How do you stay so calm, so grounded? I've covered both your concerts in Singapore. You just come out there, you just perform, you let your music do the talking.
How do I say calm?
You're not calm?
Because I'm not a sports person. Otherwise I'll be jumping a lot. I think I should get into sports.
Do you ever feel like it? That urge to just say, hey, I want to jump. You've jumped in your
Sometimes
concerts?
I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I think, but I think spirituality helps a lot to disconnect from negative and positive and everything. So you stay away from the chaos or the humiliation, the distress. And so it's very difficult to achieve it. I think over years you can practice. That makes you disconnect from everything. Everything is like, okay, is that so? Let's go forward. Because life is temporary anyway. It's just like a transit for all of us.
You had spoken about death, interestingly enough. In the last interview I did with you, you said the only certainty about life
Yes.
is its very end. And
Very true.
Yeah.
So that makes us so calm. Like we don't have to think about many things. It makes you at peace. Because any torture, any pain we go through is temporary. Yeah.
But does it bother you sometimes? I mean, you're at the pinnacle. You've been criticized many times over. Does the criticism hurt?
I like criticism which forces me to see the bigger picture, and I ignore criticism which is done with spite and with hatred. So I can immediately spot it. At least I try to spot it. So then I evaluate it, I guess. But I have to appreciate the critics. It takes so much of balls to say something. It may not be right or it may be perfect, but it's nice to have a balance, I guess.
Do you have any regrets? You've spoken in interviews of not being able to work with Michael Jackson. You came pretty close.
No, I believe in destiny. I think whatever has to happen will happen.
Happy with your life?
I'm very content.
Hollywood versus Bollywood, since you're on both sides. How does it work? Which do you prefer?
I like both. The only trouble is traveling and then leaving your family, food, health issues. But it's been fun so far.
Mm-hmm. And you work through the night. So when does Rahman sleep?
No, I sleep as much as I can. Try to sleep sometimes 4 to 7 hours. Whatever.
I'm going to ask you about Pataka Gudi because it's a song that has been stuck in my head. How did it sort of happen? And then you mentioned it became 2 songs, which I think most of us don't even know.
Highway is a movie about traveling. There's a lot of travel. They go to different areas of. So this one was the Punjab element, and they go to Punjab. So we wanted to have something which reflected Punjab at the same time reflecting the character of her, and that's how it happened.
And the Nuran sisters, I'm sure they'll always be grateful for the break they've got with you.
No, they are amazing. Even if I had not given a break to them, they would have come up because they're so talented.
What struck you about their voice, and when was the first time you heard them?
I think the ease at which they sing is amazing, and you never see so charming to see 2 girls from the root of Punjab taking over the world.
Yeah, completely.
Super.
Just the whole transformation.
Yeah.
What are you working on now, Rahman? Do you ever sort of mentally take a break from the music you're composing?
I do. While traveling, I try to switch off.
Okay. You don't think about anything. What are the downsides to composing music?
What are the downsides?
Yeah.
Composing for movies is a lot of pressure to deliver, and those are the only downs. But everything has a downside. It's not a downside, I would say. It's probably
Do you meditate as well? A lot?
I try to. I pray namas, but that is a kind of meditation because you disconnect from the world and you tune to your consciousness.
Your music is very rooted in India, you know. A lot of it is the traditions of India. You take us to Rajasthan, you take us to many parts of India which we sort of forget. I mean, a lot of people outside of India look at it as a land of chaos, but how does India inspire you?
India inspires me because the people are amazing. The sense of spirituality India has, the sense of contentment, the sense of being receptive to new people, to welcoming them, being a great host. And these are the traditions which I take from India. And the strong sense of musicality, strong sense of spirituality. I think if you're not born in India, you will never understand those things.
One of the things that strikes me, Rahman, whenever you travel overseas for a concert is just the number of musicians you introduce to us. Your concerts are never about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Does that come very naturally? Because we could just have, we could be seeing Rahman for 3 hours.
That's so boring. You'll just get sick of me in the third tune if I start coming.
You underestimate yourself.
Not like that. It's so important because I see I've seen another artist, they have to be, even if they're extremely, extremely good, they get boring after 1.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, I've watched pop acts before. You see, like, so fed up. Unless you have extraordinary musicians, the people who back to give soul to your music, also showcased. It's such a great thing. And my music is about collaboration. My music is about coming together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about.
Which part do you enjoy most? Is it when you come out to perform, or the whole process of finding the sound?
Both. I like both.
It never gets to you at all?
No.
What was working? What was working with Danny Boyle like?
With Danny Boyle, it's been a great experience. Like how I worked with Mani Ratnam and then Subhashka in the north. I think Danny for me is probably the ticket to Hollywood, which happened.
Yeah, and it came as a big surprise when he first approached you?
No, I didn't know Danny. I knew his movie. I didn't know him by name. But the movie had great music. So if a director picks great music on a movie, then he has that in his system. So that fascinated me a lot. So if I work with this guy, he's going to pick great music for me.
How long did the music take? Because you said sometimes it takes 3 hours, 3 months,
This one
3
took
years.
3 weeks.
3 weeks?
2 to 3 weeks we finished.
Okay. Do people sometimes give up on you if you're taking 3 years on a project?
Certain projects take that time, much of time.
Yeah.
Kochidan took 3 years, and the Monkeys of Mumbai is going to take 4 years to finish the movie, animation movie. So
Your Facebook status update reflected on past names and a certain sense of sadness. Why did you say that?
just that, just to be what I am now, and so it feels good. Because people, why can't they just call me A.R. Rahman? They need names. So I think they're bored.
So it was a reflection more on the handle we tend to give A.R. Rahman. Yeah? You really update your Facebook on your own?
I have a moderator.
Okay.
So I don't want my emotion to, be aggressive sometimes.
You can be aggressive? Like I can't sort of picture it,
So I have a couple of people who sometimes advise me, like, sir, don't put this now. So okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have that.
But you do your updates?
It's so dangerous otherwise. Yeah, I do it personally.
Okay.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Except for the concert things which are given to them.
All right. Do you enjoy that process of interaction with your fans? I mean, you get thousands of comments.
I don't interact, I just put it there. It's just posted.
Okay.
I don't answer questions, unfortunately, because I want myself to give more time for music.
Okay.
I wish I could. But
Mm-hmm. But do you enjoy Facebook? Do you enjoy being on virtual media and having that kind of connection as well?
I like it. I like the power because you can clarify anything straight to the people rather than going through.
In the last interview, I'd asked you about your music school, and you'd said something very profound, that time is not going to wait for us, and you just felt it
Yeah.
was, it was just the moment to start the music
Yeah.
school. What sort of satisfaction do you get out of that? This whole giving to another generation.
I mean, unbelievable things. Like, they played with the BBC Symphony Orchestra, the Scottish Symphony. I wouldn't even imagine when I was growing up I would be attached to some certain things like that. They played with the Babelsberg Film Orchestra. They sang backing for the Oscars. So it's such a great opportunity they're getting. I'm so proud of them. They're amazing. The whole team, the teachers, admin, my sisters, the director, Fatima.
Yeah. And all this time that takes you away from the family, Rahman. Your kids are growing up, and you, on your Facebook, you've written about your son walking into studio one day and you realizing he's not a baby. Do you get enough time with the family? Do they understand the kind of demands there are on Rahman's time?
They do get it, but then they're not satisfied. It's like, you have to come be in Chennai with us. Now I'm getting those emails a lot.
Or they write you on email, not WhatsApp, FaceTime.
Yeah, other emails.
We're getting pretty close to the airport, so I'll ask one last question on Infinite Love. Just the whole concept, the idea you mentioned about the world ending and you wanting to do something about it. So if you could just tell us a little bit more about Infinite Love.
It's just that particular thing inspired me to. I said, why don't we write a song? And the song is not about world ending, but it's about a beginning of a new era. And about question about leadership, about younger generation having that natural instinct uncolored in their minds and embracing each other, not separated by many prejudices in the mind. How would the world be? And that's an imagination which became the video. How this kid is seeing a kid in Africa suffering, a kid in India suffering, a kid in America. And of course, you could have done more, but that was the budget.
Yeah. So are you excited about coming back to Singapore? Would you be doing anything else apart from performing in the city?
I would probably visit some friends, old friends maybe, and go shopping.
Would your children be joining you here?
I don't know yet. I think the exams finish, I think they'll.
Okay, and what do you do to de-stress? Or are you ever stressed? That should be my last question.
What to de-stress? I think when you spend time with family, that de-stresses a lot, because you're playing a different role.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been speaking to A.R. Rahman. Rahman, thank you so much for your time, and I'm greatly appreciative you're doing this interview on the way to the airport. And we'll see you soon on April 30th. Thank you.
You take video?